Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
New People's Army declared persona non grata in Malitbog, Bukidnon. 802nd Infantry Brigade conducts mental health awareness lecture for peerless troopers. Philippine economy up by 5.4% in the first quarter of the year. Office of the Civil Defense raises alert status for May 12 midterm polls. Good day, everyone, as well as our troops at Camp Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. Today's Friday, May 9, and we will bring you the latest news from the armed forces and other information around the Philippines. In behalf of Rob Suzon, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News. DWDD Armed Forces. And the municipality of Malitbog strongly condemned the atrocities of the Communist Party of the Philippines New People's Army during a condemnation rally held at the town park in Barangay Poblacion. A large and diverse crowd gathered in a united show of support for peace and security in the region. The rally featured a symbolic burning of CPP, NPA, NDF flags, a pledge of alliance signing, and a traditional higaonon prayer ritual honoring both cultural identity and spiritual resolve for lasting peace. In his address, Mayor Gary Casino emphasized the town's unwavering commitment to peace, highlighting the unified efforts of the local government and indigenous peoples in organizing the event. DWDD Armed Forces News. And peerless troopers from the 802nd Infantry Brigade attended a mental health awareness lecture at Camp Downs in Ormoc City. With troops' welfare as a top priority, the brigade launched the initiative to address growing concerns around the mental well-being of its personnel. The session was attended in person by the brigade's organic troops, while operationally controlled units including the 14th, 93rd, 63rd, and 78th Infantry Battalions joined virtually. The lecture tackled several key risk factors such as mood disorders, easy access to lethal means, and personal losses, all identified as major triggers of emotional and psychological distress. DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio. For other updates, let us hear the details about free medical and grooming services reached over 100 youth in Legazpi City. Go ahead for the details, Jess.
Yes, good afternoon. A total of 132 children benefited from free circumcision and haircut services during an outreach program conducted by the 903rd Infantry Patriot Brigade in partnership with the 91.1 Brigada News FM Legazpi in Barangay Tamawian, Rawis, Legazpi City. The initiative aimed to bring essential government services closer to the people and let them feel the support of various agencies. In cooperation with the 31st Infantry Charge Battalion, the Philippine Navy, and other partner agencies, the activity was carried out successfully. The Team Patriot continues to collaborate and deliver meaningful services as part of their commitment to peace and development in the country. This is Jess Ronsalcom reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jess. And the 1103rd Infantry Brigade facilitated a successful amicable settlement between the Suhuri family of Barangay Kaday, Mampalam and the Elias family of Barangay Liang, both of Patikul, Sulu. The initiative was led by the 35th Infantry Battalion, with strong support from local barangay officials and both families. The Philippine Army continues to work hand-in-hand with local communities, traditional leaders, and stakeholders to foster a climate of peace and understanding in Sulu. This peaceful resolution reflects the growing success of localized peace-building efforts and underlines the importance of collaboration between the military, civilian leadership, and the people. And the 4th Infantry Division took part in the Philippine Army-wide summer sports activity held at Montalvan Hall, Camp Idalberto Evangelista in Patag. Joining the fun were civilian human resource personnel from the 52nd Engineer Brigade, 10th Field Property Accountability Office, 10th Regional Community Defense Group, 10th Field Accounting Unit, Accounting Service, and Camp Evangelista Station Hospital. A variety of fun and inclusive games took center stage, celebrating not just teamwork, but also the richness of Filipino heritage through active participation and collaboration.
DWDD Armed Forces News. DWDD National News.
On the other line, let us hear more from Ella about the Medic Action Command Center. For more updates, the 56th Infantry Battalion supported the distribution of training allowances to members of two people's organizations in Talaingod, the Salao Developmental Workers Association, and the Tatag IP Scholar Students Association. The allowances were granted following the successful completion of a 20-day bread and pastry training program held at the Tatag IP Students Tourism Center in Barangay Santo Niño. The skills training aimed at empowering indigenous peoples' communities with practical knowledge to boost their livelihood potential. The training allowances provided by TESDA are intended as financial assistance to support the participants as they transition into the next phase of the program, a bakery livelihood project under the DOLA Integrated Livelihood Program.
DWDD Armed Forces News. Armed Forces Radio.
And we have a report coming in from Leonor. Go ahead for the details, Leonor.
Good day everyone. The Western Mindanao Command, West Mincom, has officially activated its Election Monitoring Action Center or EMAC yesterday, May 8, 2025 in preparation for the national and local elections or NLE. The activations of the EMAC aims to ensure a secure and peaceful electoral process across the western and central parts of Mindanao. The EMAC will serve as the central hub for monitoring election-related activities, coordinating with the Commission on Elections or COMELEC, the Philippine National Police or PNP, and other stakeholders to address any security concerns promptly. Meanwhile, West Mincom Commander Lieutenant General Antonio Navarrete, Philippine Army, underscored the significance of a collaborative approach to election security and said that the activations of the EMAC highlighted our unwavering commitment to safeguarding the democratic process. This is Leonor Tanap reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Contributors to the growth were wholesale and retail trade, repair of motor vehicles and motorcycles, financial and insurance activities, and manufacturing. All major economic sectors also posted expansions during the period, with agriculture, forestry, and fishing growing industry.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear a reporter on the ground about Western Mindanao Command activates Election Monitoring Action Center ahead of 2025 NLE. Go on for the details, Leonor. Go on for the details, Gio.
Yes, Jhai, the Western Mindanao Command joined the ceremonial signing of the Pledge of Commitment between the Government of the Philippines and Moro Islamic Liberation Front commanders held at 18th Infantry Battalion Headquarters, 1st Infantry Division in Lamitan City, Basilan Province. During the said activity, both the Government of the Philippines and the MILF reaffirmed their commitment to upholding democratic process, especially on ceasefire-related functions. It can be recalled that under the mutual understanding and guidelines, the Government of the Philippines CCCH and MILF CCCH shall agree to intensify special ceasefire-related functions to safeguard the ceasefire and the peace process. Meanwhile, among other salient provisions, both parties shall ensure the unimpeded movement and deployment of Commission on Elections personnel, equipment, documents, voters, and deputized AFP or PNP election security personnel, and from all polling centers situated within MILF communities. This is Gio reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gio. And the Office of the Civil Defense has raised its alert status and directed all regional offices to intensify preparedness measures to help ensure the orderly and secure conduct of the upcoming elections. OCD Administrator Ariel Nepomuceno said the agency is working closely with other government bodies to safeguard lives and uphold a credible and disaster-resilient electoral process. Nepomuceno said their preparedness and coordination are vital in protecting lives, maintaining peace, and fostering public confidence in the electoral process. He said every step they take now helps ensure a smooth and credible election. And the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration is studying the possibility of an early declaration of the rainy or wet season this year. Pag-asa Administrator Nathaniel Servando said that the afternoon or evening rains in some parts of the country were caused by thunderstorm. Servando explained these are signs that the rainy season is fast approaching. He said the wet season could start anytime between the third week of May and the second week of June.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
Another update from Joanne about from the mountains to the sea. Baguio City supports West Philippine Sea advocacy. Joanne?
In line with the trust and guidance of the Northern Luzon Command, the 5th Infantry Division Philippine Army, through the Joint Task Unit Panagkay-Kaysa, 5th Civil Military Operations Battalion, CMO Regiment Philippine Army, and 1st Civil Relations Group CRS AFP, successfully conducted the West Philippine Sea Photo Gallery exhibit from 03 to 07 May 2025 at SM City, Baguio. This 5-day public engagement initiative showcased the importance of the West Philippine Sea pertaining to its ecological, economic, and national security relevance. The event included a specially prepared exhibit of captivating photographs, educational information stands, and on-the-spot information education campaigns. Notably, throughout the 5 days, the exhibit reached around 1,600 visitors, significantly enhancing public understanding and appreciation of the country's maritime claims and territorial integrity. It also served as a unifying medium for diverse culture, communities, and generations to come together in pride and share a deep connection to the West Philippine Sea. The event further strengthened the AFP's commitment in promoting nationalism, patriotism, informed citizenship, and active participation in addressing national issues through peaceful and creative means. This is John Sagok reporting for AFP Community News 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne.
DWDD National News.
And the Commission on Elections said it would intensify the removal of illegal campaign materials cluttering public spaces under Oplan Baklas. The initiative was mandated under the Fair Election Act to level the playing field among candidates and reduce visual pollution during the campaign period. Oplan Baklas was done in partnership with the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority, Department of Public Works and Highways, and the Philippine National Police. MMDA Chairman Don Arte said DPWH and PNP are also providing vital logistical and security support in dismantling oversized or improperly placed materials.
DWDD National News.
And the Philippines and Qatar held the second round of political consultations in Manila. These were undertaken between the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and the State of Qatar and the Philippines. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Qatar, the two sides discussed cooperation relations between the two countries and ways to support and enhance them in addition to a number of topics of common interest. The round of political consultations was also attended by Ambassador of the State of Qatar to the Philippines as Ahmed bin Saad Al Hamidi and Acting Director of the Asian Affairs Department of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And let us hear more updates from Spencer about AFP and Commission on Human Rights renew partnership to strengthen human rights cooperation. Spencer?
Yes, Jhai. The Armed Forces of the Philippines, through the AFP Center for Law and Armed Conflict and the Commission on Human Rights, held the signing of a renowned Memorandum of Understanding and Data Sharing Agreement held at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City. The signing was led by AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo S. Browner Jr. and CHR Chairperson Attorney Richard Palpalatok. The renewal of agreements aim to deepen cooperations in human rights education, training, and advocacy to foster greater understanding and observance of human rights and international humanitarian law within the AFP. Meanwhile, Jhai, the agreements also seek to improve mechanism for monitoring, reporting, and sharing information on human rights violations, ensuring timely, accurate documentation and more effective responses. This is Spencer, reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Spencer.
DWDD National News.
And the Civil Service Commission has updated the qualification standards for first-level government positions. This formally allows high school graduates, including those who completed grade 10 and grade 12, under the K-12 program to enter government service. The CSC explained that the resolution revises the educational requirements for entry-level government jobs to reflect the structural reforms introduced by the K-12 basic education program. The CSC also emphasized that applicants must still meet the other qualification requirements for each position, such as relevant training, experience, and eligibility to be considered for appointment.
DWDD National News.
And the Department of the Interior and Local Government National Capital Region, or DILG NCR, conferred with other stakeholders in the implementation of the guidelines and minimum standards for permanent evacuation centers for the local government units. During the consultation meeting, they emphasized the importance of addressing the needs and safety of vulnerable sectors in building local infrastructure like permanent evacuation centers. The DILG NCR then noted that the memorandum includes the local location requirements, general structure and design standards, space requirements, and utility system requirements. They also emphasized that collaborations like these are backbone of local infrastructure development in accelerating the efforts to achieve resilience in the disaster risk reduction sector.
DWDD National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And we have another update from Angel about Balikatan 40-2025 HCA turns over newly completed infrastructure projects in Palawan. Angel?
Yes, Jhai, under the Humanitarian Civic Assistance or HCA component of the exercise Balikatan 40-25, two newly completed infrastructure projects, a two-classroom school building and a community health center, were formally turned over to the respective communities in Brooks Point on May 7 and yesterday, May 8 in Rizal, Palawan. The one-story two-classroom school building equipped with comfort room, which broke ground on October 15, 2024, was turned over at Felipe Herrera Elementary School in Sitio Limbasan, Barangay Ipilan, Brooks Point, and was completed on May 2, 2025, aimed to provide a safe, comfortable, and conducive learning environment for students in this geographically isolated area. Yesterday, a turnover and blessing ceremony was conducted for the newly built Community Health Care Center in Sitio Manggahan, Barangay Iraan, Rizal, which aims to provide essential medical services to the local population, bringing much-needed healthcare access to residents in the area. Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, in collaboration with the United States counterparts, remain committed to delivering tangible benefits to local communities through sustained humanitarian and civic action programs. This is Angel Cruz Camomot reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Angel.
DWDD National News.
And Malacanang has welcomed the $10 million grant for a multilateral agency. This aims to help climate-vulnerable towns in Tawi-Tawi secure safe and reliable water access. According to its website, the Mindanao Development Authority reported that the initiative, focused on improving water security in Sibuto and Sitangkay, Tawi-Tawi, is the Philippines' first project funded by the Adaptation Fund. It aims to benefit over 71,000 residents in the island province by providing access to safe water and supporting the local seaweed industry.
DWDD National News.
And the Department of Science and Technology has proposed a national artificial intelligence strategy to steer the country's AI agenda until 2028. The OSD Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. introduced the proposed strategy during the 2025 National Innovation Day celebration. The proposed strategy will focus on 5 core areas such as infrastructure, workforce, innovation, ethics, and policy and deployment. The OSD said such will support AI applications in sectors such as agriculture, education, smart cities, creative industries, and national security.
DWDD. National News. Armed Forces Radio.
And we have another report on the ground about Australian Army's 1st Division Commander visits Western Command AFP. Go ahead for the details, Jimboy.
Australian Army 1st Division Commander Major General Ashley Collingburn visited the Western Command Armed Forces of the Philippines. The Deputy Commander Western Command for External Defense Operation, Commodore Charles Merrick A. Villanueva, Philippine Navy, warmly welcomed Major General Collingburn, who was accorded a company-sized honor upon arrival. As part of the visit, Major General Collingburn paid a courtesy call of the Commander of Western Command, Vice Admiral Alfonso F. Torres Jr., Philippine Navy, with the Commander of Joint Task Force Arrowhead, Commodore Vincent J. Cibala, Philippine Navy, and other senior officers. Meanwhile, the visit was in connection with the exercise Balikatan 4025, with Westcom Joint Operational Area emphasized the strong bilateral relationship between both nations, enhancing shared interests and promoting regional peace and stability. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD. National
And for our final news, Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remulla assured that the Department of Justice will be fair in resolving the criminal charges filed in the killings of Filipino-Chinese businessman An Son Kee and his driver. The statement came as a DOJ panel of prosecutors has started its preliminary investigation on the charges of kidnap for ransom with homicide. Remulla said they will try their best just to follow the rule of law. 3 arrested persons have been named as respondents in the case. They are Filipino Richard Austria and Raymart Katekista and Chinese David Tan Liao.
DWDD. National News.
And that's all for today's broadcast. Thank you for joining us, especially to our audience in our Facebook page, AFP Radio DWDD. Don't forget to tune in next week for more updates, same time, same station. Again, this is Jhai Simbajon for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. 1 AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Ito ang DWDD 1134 kHz AM. Balita, impormasyon at musika. Ito ang DWDD AFP Radio. Boses ng Kawal Pilipino.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.